Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host, Kandyce Sloan, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hard Hats.
Sorry.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Crap. I'm going to have to redo the entire beginning.
Yeah.
Howdy ho, you handsome hunk. Grab a snack and gain some chunk. If your day is great or really sunk, we hope to help you shake the funk. So if you're good to hear some junk, buckle up. It's the Junk Monk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host, Kandyce Sloan, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hard Hats.
And I'm Noah, your co-host, who you know from Right Now.
Before I go any further, this episode is on YouTube if you would like to check it out. Also, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge this extremely special episode. We have a plethora of fantastic co-hosts that are about to join us via Zoom, and we could not be more excited.
Yes, this is our very special listener episode in which all of you lovely people, our listeners, reached out for a chance to be on this very episode, and we have selected a few of our top fans to join us today. So again, we are very excited.
If this is your first time listening, let us fill you in. We are watching and reviewing every episode of the USA hit TV show Monk right here each week.
And we are going to do so while eating a little bit of junk. So I've got my junk food here, which is actually Kandyce's healthy cereal.
Yes, Magic Spoon cereal. Okay, and then I have some paleo chocolate cake, which we'll get into during junk time. Also, you must know I've seen every episode of Monk. I'm a huge fan, started watching in 2007, and for the most part watched it as it aired.
I have seen seasons 1 and 2, and those we've done on the show, and a few scattered here and there in different seasons.
So if you're ready to start the show, our first co-host of the day is locked and loaded to do our synopsis. You may know her as Shanga Psych on Instagram or as the host of her Psyched podcast.
She also sent us awesome bracelets, by the way.
She totally did.
It is Keaton Jones. So let's hear it. Here's what happened.
Hello, I am Keaton Jones. Here with me is little wrinkly monk, and this is Happy Birthday, Mr. Monk, Season 8, Episode 9. So here's what happened. In the opening scene, we see a maintenance man cleaning his workplace late at night when he accidentally clogs the trash compactor. He goes to unclog it when a masked assailant switches on the conveyor belt, sending the man to a grisly death. After the open, we see Natalie attempting to throw Mr. Monk a surprise party for his 50th birthday and failing miserably. As for the case, the first lead is a man named Richard Meckler, who had been working late the night of the murder. They go to speak to Meckler, a patent attorney, who is tending the showcase of a self-cleaning vacuum. While Disher is questioning him during the festivities, Meckler is somehow poisoned and drops dead of a heart attack. Randy noticed that he was drinking soda. However, notes that his wife and client, Kurt Pressman, the inventor of the vacuum, had both drank out of the same glass with no problem. It's assumed that Meckler is the one who killed the maintenance man since they are connected. But who killed Meckler? Well, it turns out that the inventor, Kurt Pressman, wasn't the real inventor at all. The maintenance man is the one who actually created the self-cleaning vacuum. He had taken the idea to Meckler, but instead the patent attorney betrayed his trust and conspired to steal the idea with Kurt Pressman and split the profits. Pressman got even more greedy and decided to kill Meckler, and he had used tainted ice cubes to murder him. The poison slowly melted into the soda, which is how Pressman and the wife were able to drink from the same cup unharmed. Monk figures this all out during the surprise party, which Natalie finally manages to pull off. He notices that the ice cubes in his glass are square while everyone else's are round. Pressman apparently thought Monk was close to figuring him out, so he tried to murder him too. Of course, he was right, but it's too late. Monk solves the case and has a successful birthday party in which he never wants again. Happy 50th birthday, Mr. Monk, and I hope I did that justice. Have a good day.
All right, that was Happy Birthday, Mr. Monk. Thank you, Keaton. That was fantastic. So I think we're ready for our next co-host already to do some likes. She is in the waiting room right now, and she is arguably our number one fan, an OG junk monker.
Our girl, your girl, Lindsay Chambers. So let's get her on.
Let's get her on. Here we go.
What?
Hi.
Hi. Wait, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, I'm so excited. Like, y'all have no idea.
Okay, I already know where you are, but where are you?
Yeah, so I'm in Disney World right now, Noah.
What?
Yeah.
I just thought you had a really nice backyard.
No, this is by the Indiana Jones ride, actually. So it's like a jungle kind of,
What?
but
We're just randomly at Disney World.
So, are we interrupting your day? How's your day going?
oh, it's been pretty good. They just opened a new Star Wars ride. They're doing like this whole like virtual queue thing. It's been like super hard to get into. But we got to ride that today, which was super exciting. Yeah, my dad loves Star Wars, so he was thrilled. But yeah, so we've just kind of been like going around doing some more of our favorite rides. Have you been to Disney World?
I have been to Disney World twice. I went on my honeymoon, and then I went last year with my family for just a random trip.
I've never been.
Oh
So-
no, that's sad.
Wow.
So is your dad as big of a fan of Star Wars as you are of Monk?
Not quite, I wouldn't say, but probably pretty close.
You're a pretty big fan of Monk. So when did you start watching Monk?
I think I was in like middle school. There was like a TV marathon on the like Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel or whatever. And so I tuned in at one point to Mr. Monk Goes to the Circus, I think, with the like trapeze artist lady. Yeah. So that was my first ever like all the way through episode. And I just like I loved it, and so I just wanted to go like all the way through and like binge it on Prime. So I went all the way through the whole series, and ever since I've just loved it. It's so good.
Awesome.
Oh my
That's cool.
gosh.
The circus is a good one. I can see how you
Yes.
got hooked from that. Okay, so did you bring any junk?
I did.
No
I
way.
have some character gummies
Uh,
with me.
That is so cute.
That's awesome. Okay, I was excited to see what you brought from Disney. That was a good one.
I almost got ice cream, but then it would have melted by the time we were
Oh
done.
yeah, we've tried ice cream before. Like, oh, we have ice cream. Wait, when are we supposed to eat this? And it's like melted by junk time. Yeah, so
Soup.
yeah, exactly. Ice cream soup. So good call on the ice cream. I have chocolate cake,
And I have healthy cereal,
healthy cereal.
which is not as
Nice.
cool as Goofy candy, but
Nothing's going to be. Okay. So we're doing the episode Happy Birthday, Mr. Monk. So do you want to ask her?
Lindsay, what did you like about this episode?
Okay, so I have my notes here.
She brought notes to
the
Disney World.
first-
I am living right now.
I couldn't not do this show with the notes. I would be so flustered. But the first thing I wrote down, I love that Monk spoils his own surprise party 3 separate times. Like, I think that is the funniest thing. Because he first figures it out at the very beginning in the police station, and he's like, "Why is there nobody here?" And then he figures out that it's at Natalie's house later on, and then he gets super mad that she almost planned it in Dr. Bell's office. She was just like, "Oh no, it's the one next door. Like, don't be mad at me." It's so funny.
I wrote down when the first time he spoils it, because he walks in and the room is empty, and he's like, he notices everyone's gone, but he's like, there's missing paper plates. What? That's what happens when you have an empty room. Okay. And then he starts reading Natalie with his hands. He's like, wait a second. And he's like reading her. It's so funny. Yes, I had that. And whenever I think it's oh no, he doesn't spoil this one. It's not that time, because this time she's not tricking him, but
Yeah.
he thinks she is at the crime scene. And so he's like, staring at the closet, and he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, open the closet." And then he opens it, and she's like, "Boo!" It's so funny. So yes, Noah, what do you have?
I have Monk's self-cleaning vacuum. He was just in love with this thing. He was like dancing with it, and whenever it like died, he was like mourning so much.
The good die young. Not this vacuum. Take me instead.
Yeah, why this vacuum? Like, could you clean the filter? And the guy's like, wait, you clean the filter? He's like, yeah. Well, he's like, we used the biggest font we could. Monk's like, yeah, it was a pretty big font. Like, where does it say that? It says it here, and on the back, do not clean filter. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But yeah, I also have when Monk falls in love with the vacuum and he's dancing with it, and then he kills it and he wraps it up in the blanket. I love how he humanizes the vacuum cleaner. Like, you like really believe it's like, I don't know, a small child or something, and he's like holding and he plays it on. The fact that he lays the vacuum on his couch, like, would he ever put a vacuum cleaner on his couch in the first place? Like, that's gross. Yeah. But he's in love with it. So he's like puts it on, like you said, the good die young. So
and then when he's like holding it, and then Natalie like tries to grab it from him or something, and he's like, don't touch it. Whatever. It's so funny.
Or when she tries to touch it in the first place, he slaps her.
When it's on the
he's like looking at it like adoringly, and she like goes to touch it, and he's like, wait, it's just a vacuum. Like, you can't touch it. No touching. That is really good.
What did you have, Kandyce?
Okay, so a different note. The Stoddy flirt. Very strong.
I know. I saw it coming from a mile away.
We haven't seen him flirt this hard since Linda. Aww. Let's go. I don't know about you guys. That was what, season 5? So it's been like 3 seasons. His flirting game I thought was better. Remember with Linda, he was super nervous and he told the elephant joke, and she's like, "Tell me something I don't know." And he's like, "Elephants can't jump." And she's like, "What?" He's like, you said, "Tell me something I don't know. Your elephant, he can't jump."
Oh, like, my God, that was so bad.
It was kind of cringy. It was cute, but also cringy, and I felt like he was really smooth with this lady.
He was very smooth.
Yes.
I thought so, but.
And then at the very end, her name was Trudy.
Yeah. What did you think about that?
I was just like, no, you can't date her. You literally can't. If Monk and dare figure out that. Oh my gosh, no way.
Yeah, that was a pretty good, and Stottlemyre was like, "Oh crap, that's not gonna work." You know, let's just stick with TK. Let's just stick with TK. Yeah, that's true. What did you have, Lindsay?
So the next thing I had was the whole Cowboy Hank story. I thought that was so funny, and also just the fact that he tells Natalie, and he like closes all the blinds, like this is like serious business for him, and he doesn't even tell Dr. Bell either. Like, Natalie is supposedly like the first person he's told this traumatic childhood story, and he can't even tell Dr. Bell. It's so funny.
She's like, "Why haven't you told Dr. Bell?" He's like, "I didn't think he could handle it." He's a trained therapist, psychologist, but it's
the whole point of you going to him is so that he can help you.
I don't think you can handle it, but he thinks Natalie can handle it.
It was so like, she was like, "What are you talking about?" And she like undid the curtains and everything. She was like, "You're being ridiculous."
That's such a lame story. That's lame. That's so lame. Everyone has a story like that.
It was I thought it'd be actually something traumatic, not.
Well, I mean, it's Monk.
That's true.
It's traumatic for him.
Yeah.
His own birth was traumatic.
Yes. I have something about that later.
What?
Yep.
Okay, I'm next. So everyone's making fun of the dead guy, and me and Kandyce, when we were watching it, we were like, "Why are they doing this?" And then Monk, it wasn't even like a comeback or anything. It just happened to be like so funny. He was like, "Man, this must have been such a horrible death." After they were making fun of the death, he was like, "They probably tore up his spine on the way down, and his lungs were ripped open." And me and Kandyce were
Yeah, he gets so graphic with it, and they're all like, they like feel so bad about making fun of him.
Yes. Yep.
Goodness.
Okay, I have Randy stuff. That's what I'm looking at here is, so the one little Randy thing is when they're in the morgue and I guess Dr. Z, we'll talk about him too.
Oh gosh.
Dr. Z, he's like, yeah, it's, I don't even know what it was, fluorocitrate or something. And Randy's like, fluorocitrate, and like writing down, he's like, yeah, fluorocitrate, and he's like trying to write it. He's like, yeah, I'll just write my notes later. It's funny. And then my other Randy thing is whenever they're doing the reenactment, and they're doing the reenactment where of the poisoning, because the guy was poisoned, and they're like, okay, you be Meckler, you be the killer, you know, the killer, you be the other guy. And then Randy's like, wait, I want to be Meckler. And he's like, no, Randy, you're you. Why do you want to be Meckler? And he's like, he has more to do. Again, Randy treating this like this is like a different life. Like this is a play. Like he's asking the captain, like, oh, do you want me to say it again? Do you want me to do that again? Dude, that's my line. Like literally acting like this is fake life. It's so funny. It's like he has more to do. I want to be him. So that's my Randy action.
Yeah, I also had the right in that same scene, the dartering theory. I love that theory. It's so funny.
Yeah,
because he's like, yeah, they could have just like, it could have just been like a dart, and they're like, we would have found a dart. It's like dartering, it comes right back or whatever, and they're all like, Randy, what?
Yes, because Jason mentioned that in our interview, and I was like, I didn't know what he was talking about.
Dartering.
Yeah, and then but I'm guessing, like, I'm putting it together. So he's saying it's like a boomerang, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, half dart, half boomerang.
And then, like, how does it come back? And he's like, invisible string.
Yeah.
Something, right? Yeah. So he's like, and then you pull it. Oh, yeah.
That's not that bad of an idea. Like, boom, and but you have the string, and then you pull it back.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, as long as you don't shoot them, like, here, if you, like, do it in the leg or something, like, where nobody would see, because somebody would be like, and, you know, it would see you getting hit. But
I guess.
Yeah.
It'd have to be, like, in your leg or something, like, down here. No one would see. But, yes, darterings. So that's an okay Randy theory, I guess. It's okay.
Okay, my next thing is the Monk versus Natalie shenanigans. These are probably the best Monk versus Natalie shenanigans. Natalie's like, oh, I'm so gonna get you. And it was just so much fun to watch them. They're so cute together. I love them.
Yes, I did. I put that Natalie trying to get Monk the whole time was a really good storyline. Kind of a dislike about, you know, the, I guess, not subplot. This felt like the main plot, right?
Yes,
Happy birthday, Mr. Monk, and the crime was kind of but this really tied the episode together. Like, obviously, again, I don't know, is the crime supposed to be the A plot every time, or is Monk doing the adventure allowed to be the A plot?
I think it's supposed to be the crime. I like it more when it's the crime.
I feel like
it could go either way.
Yeah.
It really depends on the episode, honestly.
Because I feel like this one did it really good.
That the adventure was the A plot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I'm like, oh, it's the B plot, but it was actually, I think it might have been the A plot. So, but yeah, I liked the, like you said, in 4 separate occasions, Natalie is like trying to put one over on him, and we get to see that, and of course when she successfully does it at the end. But yeah, I really liked that, and I thought it showed how good of a assistant that she was.
Yeah.
I remember on our Natalie versus Sharona episode, one of our listeners, Luke, he called and left a voicemail about this episode, which we hadn't seen yet, but this was one of his strongest arguments for why Natalie is such a good assistant, because she throws him the surprise party and she makes a big deal about his 50th birthday and stuff. So I thought this was I saw it after watching it, and I'm like writing like, this actually shows she's a good assistant. And I was like, somebody said that before. Yeah. So it makes sense now. I got you.
Yeah.
Better than Sharona.
Well, oh, okay.
All right. I see how it is, Noah.
Okay, I'm disconnecting Noah right now. His headphones are being unplugged as we speak.
we're 2-1 right now.
We
so you
are.
better watch yourself.
You are outnumbered. That is true. Also, when Natalie winks at him, or no, she's winking. Is she winking at Monk or Stottlemyre in the crime scene?
Yeah, I think it's
she's
Monk,
winking at
and then
Monk.
Stottlemyre's like, Natalie, like, cut it out. And she's just
She's winking. She's winking at me. She's winking, and she's like, "What?"
she did it again. Like,
Exactly. I have 2 more.
I have 2 more as well.
Okay, how many do you have, Lindsay?
I don't know, kind of. It's a lot of quotes, honestly.
Okay, go ahead. Give us some quotes.
Okay. So one of my favorites was when, like, right after the vacuum dies, I think, and Monk's like adamant about like going to the guy and getting it fixed. And they're like about to leave. And Natalie's like trying to convince him to get the surprise party. And eventually she just goes like, fine, Mr. Monk, you win. You're going to spend your birthday alone. And the next birthday after that, and the one after that too, until you finally die, alone and pathetic and miserable and sad and alone. And Monk really sits there and goes, deal. And just wants to leave.
That's
I love that part.
That's a really good one. There was a quote. I was trying to rewatch it before we ran out of time. There was a good quote. I don't know if you have it, but whenever Stottlemyre's like, Monk, this is the man's home. Like, he died. Like, this is the crime scene. Like, you really think Natalie would do the surprise party here? And then Monk says something like, no, I don't. Which is exactly why I do think that she would. Which makes me not believe it. Which makes me do. Which makes me don't. Which makes me do. Or something. I didn't write the quote down, but I thought that was a good one.
Yeah. Also in that scene, there's like a paper shredder or something, and he like walks over paper shredder like, oh, like I see how it is, and he picks up a bundle of it and goes, confetti. It's so
like,
funny.
that's evidence. We're
Like, that's what we call material evidence. Okay, let's go put that back down. It's so funny. He's like, I see how it is. This is your confetti. That is a good one.
Exactly.
Do you have any more quotes? I feel like I have no quotes.
And then when Natalie's finally able to trick him and they're like doing that car chase, they're like on the phone with Stottlemyre, and he's saying that there's like the Jeep or whatever black car following them, and there's like a ransom on them, and Natalie goes, both of us are just him.
Yeah.
And Monk glares at her like, really? And then when they finally get back to like between the dumpster or the porta potty, and so she's like Mr. Monk, like you have to choose, and he goes, have we met? Like, I choose death.
That is true, because death is, I think, lower on the list than germs. So it makes sense.
True.
Like, have we met? Death down here. That makes sense. Okay, I have the chase scene, like just in general.
Yeah.
The episode was a good episode, but it was maybe a little bit slow at times. This chase scene like picked up the intensity. I mean, like, it was like, okay, we're watching Monk, he may not be surprised, we're vacuum cleaner. Okay, it was pretty mellow, but the chase scene was like really, really good. And then so I knew what happened, right? And so I'm trying to gauge Noah. I'm just like looking at the screen like, okay, don't, just sit here, just watch, give it away, act surprised or whatever. And then they kill the guy. Pop, 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 pop.
Oh, yeah, and you were like, oh!
I was like,
I forgot about that too. I really was like, what?
They killed the guy, and then, oh my gosh, I just remembered. And then Monk's like, oh yeah, what about the security guard? You killed him. That was good. And Stottlemyre's like, oh no, yeah, that was real. We had to make it look real, like legitimate. Yeah. And Monk's like, oh, and they're like, I'm just kidding. And the security guard's like, hey Monk, and he has bullets.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really good.
The chase scene was just so good. I forgot I was watching Monk. I was like, wait a minute, they're really doing this right now? Because they really sell it, because they come from that weird guy's house, and like, as if he knows that they're onto him, and he was like, okay, I gotta get my guys on them or whatever. So I was like, why did they make this guy seem so evil? and then it's like there's a $20,000 bounty on your head.
That's good, because you didn't like that
Yeah,
at first.
yeah.
That you were like, really? They had to show this scene where the guy was evil,
Yeah.
but it totally played into the chase, or else that would have been super random.
Yeah.
That's true. I also put about the chase like biggest Natalie scheme ever? Question mark.
Mhm.
I mean, that's the
Probably.
most elaborate thing we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, and it was done by Natalie. She got him. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I have one more thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a few more.
Okay, go ahead, Lindsay.
So yeah, I'll just go through.
Okay.
Oh, I loved seeing in the like flashback or whatever with Cowboy Hank. Little Monk is so cute. Have you seen all of the like web series like things, the little clips?
I haven't seen. Is there a place they'll find those?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember where I watched them. I think I might have I got like a DVD or something of one of the seasons, and it like had it on there as like a bonus thing. But yeah, I'm not sure if they're on YouTube. I feel like they probably would be. But yeah, I think it's the same guy in as Little Monk in those as is in this little flashback scene. But he's so cute. I love it.
Yeah, and he's so happy with all of his friends.
Yeah.
His friends.
It was actually one of my dislikes because it's not the same actor. I hate when they switch up actors in the show, like with Trudy. But this guy, this kid he looked pretty legit.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Little Monk in Little Monk, like in Mr. Monk and Little Monk. But I mean, he got a whole episode himself, kind of. So it's kind of hard to see Little Monk as anybody else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
that's fair.
Do you have any more likes, or no? Are you done?
I had one more, but it's actually a plot hole.
Oh, okay, so save it.
Actually, I can say it.
Are you sure? Do you have any plot holes though, Noah?
I have 2 plot holes.
Okay, well then just save it.
Other than this one.
Just save it then. Just save it.
Come on, it's good.
You need to carry your weight today in plot holes.
Oh my god.
Because Lindsay has some more too, right?
Oh yeah, I have a few.
Okay, go ahead.
I have so something, I think this was in the Hi Conrad interview. I never picked up on the fact that everything happens on Vinton Street, but the like fake inventor dudes like workshop, I guess, is also, they say that it's the address or whatever on the vacuum is like 603 Vinton Street or something like that. But I can't believe I never picked up on the Vinton Street and anything else, and now I'm hearing it. And it's so funny.
I noticed it, like, in general, but I did not notice it in this episode. Good catch.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Nice.
And then I have, this is little, but in the, when he's doing, like, the, I guess just, like, going around the party, like, meeting and greeting or whatever, somebody, like, comes up to Monk and goes like, yeah, like, happy birthday, Monk. And he goes, happy birthday. Like, his response to happy birthday is happy birthday. Instead of like, thank you or something, he just goes, happy birthday. Like, it's so cute.
I've definitely had those. Well, I don't usually do it. Toby does it when he's like ordering something and someone's like, oh, have a good day. And it's like, oh, you too. But they'll say something that's like not relevant. Like, oh, enjoy your food. And he's like, oh, you too. And he's like,
yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah, Monk was cute when he did that.
Yes. And then I just have 2 more, I think. I liked the poison in the like ice cubes clue.
Yeah.
I thought that was super clever. I feel like that one's pretty memorable for me, honestly, because it's like I like the kinds of clues where you can like watch the episode again and then be like, oh yeah, like that's how, because of the ice kind of thing, when the like convention scene or whatever comes up. But I really liked that. I thought it was super clever.
Were the cubes the same shape in the beginning? Do you remember? Like when he actually poisons the first guy. Were they all square?
I'm not sure.
I feel like they had to have been, right? Like to make it like blend in. And
probably
figures it out, but I feel like they had to have been probably all square. That guy didn't think that through.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah.
Yeah.
So the ice melted, or he chewed on the ice, and that's
No,
why
it melted. So when the lady sipped it
Yeah.
first, no ice had melted, so she was fine. And then when she passed it on, the ice had started to melt. So then he was drinking his drink as the ice was melting, as poison was slowly seeping into his cup. But she drank it so fast, she was fine.
Oh.
Boom, passed it on.
I thought it was because he chewed on his pen, and so he like chewed on the ice.
Oh, that's a good point. I
I hadn't thought of that,
they
but
were,
maybe.
yeah, I didn't know how they were going to tie in that chewing the pin clue, but I think it was just they found it in that guy's house or his shed or whatever. Like they knew him before.
It was a weird clue for no reason. The chewing the pen.
Yeah.
It was.
I have a plot hole about that too. Okay, my last one is Cowboy Hank. That I said this before, how Natalie's a great assistant. She got Cowboy Hank.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good get. Not only did she plan the party, but she like recreated his party. And then she's like, oh yeah, like Mr. Monk, Cowboy Hank left and everyone's still here. And then Randy's like, all right, great party. I'll see you later, guys. And she's like, you're not leaving.
And he goes, okay. And just walks away.
But I thought this was a really good redemption to the Cooper clan thing.
Yeah.
Because that completely ruined the show for him and ruined everything. And I'm sure he loved Cowboy Hank and he still loved him, but that association with his terrible birthday party just ruined it for him. So I think it was a really good redemption.
Hopefully he has like a better memory of it, of a party with Cowboy Hank or whatever. And so now it like makes him feel better, I guess.
Yeah.
Or that's his first thought instead of the traumatic 10th birthday party or whatever he had as a kid.
Exactly.
I loved how Cowboy Hank was just so old because it was like 40 years ago.
I know, he really was. And I was like, is he crying? I was like, no, I think he's just old. It's just how he looks. It was sad. It was good though. He was cute.
Yeah.
He was really cute. And then Monk's wearing his cowboy hat.
Oh yeah.
At the party. Like it cuts to him and he's wearing the cowboy hat. It's kind of sitting on his head. He's like all happy.
He's like, who's the birthday boy? And Monk's like, me.
Oh yeah. He's like,
yeah.
That's so good. Okay, I'm done. Did you have one more?
I'm also done. That done? My last one was the you're not leaving.
Oh, okay, yeah, good. It's like, see, look, everybody stayed. I'm like, I'll see you later, guys. You're not leaving. So good. Okay, so that's it for likes. So that's it for Lindsay.
Yep.
Bye. Have fun at Disney World. Have fun at Disney World. Ride some rides for us. Eat lots of junk. Okay.
Of course.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was so much fun.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun.
Bye, Lindsay.
Bye. All right. Our next co-host has actually been on our show before, but Noah, you have never met her.
I have not, but I'm so ready.
This next host is the founder of Tony Shalhoub Daily and has met Tony Shalhoub himself 3 times.
What? That is crazy.
3 times.
I am really ready to meet her.
Okay, then she's in the waiting room. Let's bring on Denise.
Hey, guys.
Hey, there you are.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you at first.
You are all set up in there. That is so cool. You have your monk shirt, your monk bobblehead. Oh, we have ours too.
What?
Little monk. And you've got all your is that a TV or like or a sign?
I have it's my phone. I have the episode playing.
Oh, you have the episode playing, but what's the screen behind you?
This is just a monitor.
A monitor. Oh, okay. It looks cool. Love it.
Thanks.
It looks like us, all professional up here.
Yes, I tried.
Okay, what did you bring as your junk?
Okay, so my junk is the Nutella and Go breadsticks with Nutella spread.
Ooh, Noah loves Nutella.
I love those.
He loves
these
Nutella.
are great. These are awesome.
I have chocolate cake.
And I have cereal.
Magic Spoon cereal. It's supposed to be healthy.
You know what? Cereal is good any time of the day. So.
That is facts. So, okay, our first question is going to be, when did you start watching Monk?
So I started watching Monk in the summer of 18.
Oh, okay. Right, because
my mom found it. Yeah.
Okay, right. I remember. I'm getting a little refresher because Noah doesn't know anything. So, so you started watching it a few years ago, and your thing is you love Tony Shalhoub,
Right.
right? So she loves Tony Shalhoub. She's met him 3 times.
Wow.
Are you looking forward to any? Is he going to do any performances anytime soon or anything like that you get to go see?
I haven't seen anything. I guess they're still, taking a lot of precautions with COVID and everything. So,
Mhm.
but I know that season 4 of Maisel is in production, so that's a great thing. So.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and so that's so exciting that they're filming that. They need to get on that ASAP. All right, so we're in dislikes, obviously, and once again, we're talking about Happy Birthday, Mr. Monk. So, Denise, what did you dislike about this episode?
Okay, so my biggest overall general dislike about the episode. While I love the fact that Monk is so brilliant and that he thinks no one can fool him, I kind of dislike the way he was so arrogant about them not being able to surprise him. But then on the other hand, because I play both sides of the fence on this one. On the other hand, when they finally did surprise him, I was like, oh man, they got him. So it was like, I was mad that he was arrogant about them trying, and then I was mad that they actually did it. So it's like, come on, Denise, make up your mind. So the actual dislike is of myself for that, because I can't decide whether I like the fact that he was arrogant or whether I like the fact that they caught him. I can't decide. So that's my overall general dislike about the episode.
The only thing I had about the actual party is actually Natalie stuff, like her terrible poker face when she's like first trying to surprise him. Like when he starts looking at her like that, she's just like, what? And like making faces, and you're like, Natalie, come on, you have one job. Just keep a straight face. And then whenever he asks her what was the crime again? And she's like, oh, it was a double homicide. And he's like, earlier you said triple homicide. Did somebody get better? Like, you can't even get your story straight, Natalie. Come on. And then the other thing I put was that they had all the cops, of course, they admit later, Stoudemire's like, what were we thinking? He's the best detective in the world. But like, that's how they tried to surprise him, was a completely empty room.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't think he would think that was suspicious. Like, they could have just left like a few people out there like shuffling papers or something.
They could have just like all like been sitting at the desk and then just been like, surprise, and then like, I don't know, someone comes up behind him with a kazoo or something. I don't know.
Exactly. They could have made it look mostly normal, and then like maybe once he opens the captain's door, they're like, surprise, and he's like, what the heck? And then when he turns around, everyone else is doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to shove everyone in the same room.
Because then you're like,
make any sense.
What's wrong here? Anyone
could. I think anyone at that point would have been able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because it was dead silent. I'm sure it was like dead silent in there. Like, shh, be quiet. Yeah. No noise. Like, yeah. That was exactly. Anybody would have figured it out.
Cups, you notice the cups were missing? That's something that maybe the average person may not recognize.
Yeah.
That shelf over there is missing cups.
Right. But an empty room, that's too convenient. So I agree with that.
For sure. Do you have anything, Noah?
You want to go?
Oh, I said mine about Natalie's poker face and all of that stuff.
Okay, I'll go. Natalie, like you said earlier, she gives up when trying to surprise Monk. Because they need to go to Dr. Bell's or whatever, and she just gives up. She's like, all right, fine, you caught me. When she could have completely just ridden the wave and been like, no, actually, I forgot my keys at home or something. Not keys.
Yeah.
But like, I forgot my phone at home or something.
Well, I did put that she left her phone on.
Yeah.
Remember whenever she's like, oh, we have to swing by my house. I left my cell phone at home. And he's like,
why was it on?
And goes, calls it, and then the ringer's on. And you're like, Natalie, come on. Yeah. You have to cover all your bases.
Even like, I have to drop Julie off at soccer practice or something.
Well, Julie probably would. She's probably coaching the team by now.
Oh my God.
She's old now, so.
He's so old.
He's an 8.
Exactly. But yeah, Natalie could have done better. She could have done better in the first place, and then to cover up her lies.
Yeah.
She's not. we talked about, the Natalie scheme of all, that she actually pulled one over on Mr. Monk, right? So we do give her props, but just leading up to that was a little iffy. It was Natalie per usual, I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
Right. So, just to elaborate a little bit further on that, it's like, it's one thing that he was arrogant about it, but then it's like every time he figured it out, at that point, he had like 3 opportunities to just go along with it at that point. And just be like, okay, fine, you got me. I mean, I figured it out. I win. But I'll go along with it anyway, just to make you happy and to make everyone else happy. Because obviously they love me and they care about me. But I'll go along with it. But for the record, I knew. Like, he could have done something like that. But I think it was like 3 times. But he still, even after, he got his satisfaction of figuring it out, he still was like, he wouldn't go along with it. And I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, because Natalie was like, everyone is waiting for you. Come on, just give up. And he just wouldn't. I don't.
Yeah, it was kind of jerky.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Like it always looks like his phobia, part of his phobia too, or whatever. But he kind of let that take over a little too much. That's when you yank him in there. Like, nope, we're coming. Like, don't let him walk away. But again, I'm always putting the blame on Natalie.
Yeah,
I'm always doing that. Are you team Natalie or team Sharona?
I am team Natalie.
Okay.
But again, I don't dislike Sharona. I love Sharona, but I just prefer Natalie.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Well, she's from New York, so she always gives me the Sharona vibes, the accent.
Yeah, I know.
She
Even though I
thinks we have an
sound like
accent.
her.
We have an accent? I have an accent?
You know what? I don't hear it with Noah so much. I do hear it with Kandyce.
I hear an accent with Kandyce.
Yeah,
Howdy.
absolutely.
That's a little much, but I can see. I can see.
You sound like Cowboy Hank.
Okay, that's a little much. Okay.
Female version.
My next thing is, of course, the cops being so insensitive about the man who was crushed into a cube, and then they were like, "Oh, did you see his car outside?" And Sotomayor's like, "You might look for a compact."
Yep. I wrote that down too. I was like, come on.
It's messed up.
It was better.
Yeah.
That is, and it was like, obviously you're supposed to think it's a little funny and we're laughing about it now, but in the moment when you're actually watching it, you're like, wow, are they really saying this stuff right now?
Mm-hmm.
And then what does the other guy say? Something about, we think he was wearing briefs. It looks more like boxers to me because he's in the shape of a box. I was like, oh my gosh,
So messed up.
that is terrible. But then Natalie kind of does it too, because when they're in his apartment, I guess they're talking about the guy, and Natalie's like, I bet he was surprised.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then Natalie did it too, even though she was like, guys, this man died, whatever. So she was being all high and mighty about it. But
My next dislike is, okay, first off, Monk does not like parties. Second off, Monk does not like surprises. And third off, you tried to surprise Monk even though he's extremely smart. Like, you messed up on all 3 of those things. You know he doesn't like parties. You know he doesn't like surprises. You know he'll figure out the surprise. So why even try?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That's true. It's one of those things where it's really hard because it's like, for one, you want someone to be happy on their birthday, and you want them to, like, okay, if you don't want to party, you don't have to, like, we'll do something that you want to do and it'll be great. But then on the other hand, it's like, when someone is so as extreme as Monk, you're like, no, you need to understand that you have people that love you and that want to celebrate you, and you try to stay alone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And today, of all days, you need to feel loved and special, not like, let's spend 3 hours vacuuming the rug because that's what you want to do today.
Yeah.
So that's a struggle for a lot of people, I feel like, because people, the thing to do is like throw a party, but probably half the people in the world hate parties or hate being the center of attention or whatever. So it's just like, it's hard to do. And then it's like, as your assistant, you're like, do I have Mr. Monk, like, do I put myself out there as the assistant like that? And like, maybe Monk will be mad at me, or do I not really care because he needs to have a party and it's going to be fun and it's going to be great and everything. So
yeah, that's true.
because she also was going to throw him a party before she knew about the Cowboy Hank thing. And like, that was a big part of the party. So before it was just going to be like a bunch of cops drinking, you know, soda or whatever. Like Cowboy Hank like added to the party, which she wasn't originally going to do.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but yeah.
And she even, I think when they were leaving the apartment later on in the episode when he was carrying the vacuum, which I'll get to as one of my dislikes, and she even said, okay, fine, Mr. You know, something to the effect of, so you could die, you know, alone and miserable and sad and whatever. And then she says alone again, like a second time to emphasize it. And he just looks at her and he goes, feel. So it's like, yeah, that's what he wanted. So I think at that point, it was kind of like even more of a challenge for Natalie to accomplish. And she did.
Yeah, exactly. My next thing is Natalie saying that Monk's story is lame and stupid. Like, because that she uses both of those words whenever he's like acting like it's so traumatic what happened to him, you know, Cowboy Hank and all my friends left and everything. And of course it's supposed to be funny and it's supposed to be silly and he's supposed to be dramatic over the top. But then Natalie's like, Mr. Monk, that's the worst story I've ever heard. That's lame. That's stupid. Everybody has a bad party. And I'm like, that's kind of, I mean, that's a little rough to say, like when someone's actually traumatized by something, like, because what was it? I don't think this episode of ours has come out yet, where we were talking about our biggest fears, and Noah's was like, what if his friends don't really like him? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. Like, what if they just, I don't know, like, what if they just like don't really like me? They just like really feel sorry for me or whatever. And it's like, exactly, like normal people have that legitimate fear, like, let alone Mr. Monk being like, yeah, I thought I had friends for a minute. And then, of course, they were all using me and it was terrible. Like, that's a pretty traumatic thing. Like, now to, I guess, I don't know, not want to have a birthday party when you're 50 and like think the same thing. I don't know. I just didn't like that Natalie used those words. She could have said like silly or come on, Mr. Monk, like you need to get over that. You need to get over that fear. Not that's stupid.
Yeah.
So that was just one for me.
What I didn't like about that scene was that I want to know what Natalie thought he was going to say, because she got like really emotional. Like she was like, oh my God, what is he about to tell me? And then it's like, he finishes the story, she calls him lame, and like she goes and she opens the blinds and that's it. It's like, I want to know, what did she think he was going to say?
Yeah.
I would love to know.
He had a rope and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Where does she think this is going? Like, what?
It reminded me of when he was remembering his own birth and he was recalling that whole thing. It's like, oh my God, like, and then you realize, oh my God, it's just him being him, you know? It's like,
Exactly.
That's what makes it funny, though.
Okay, I actually didn't like Monk being traumatized by Cowboy Hank because I just thought it was completely unneeded. I think that, like, they could have just been like, nobody showed up to my birthday party, and that was it. But for some reason, they put Cowboy Hank in there, which I don't really understand.
Like, you think they could have dealt without Cowboy Hank at all? Or you think that they shouldn't have put Cowboy Hank as a sad thing?
Cowboy Hank shouldn't have been in the episode.
Oh, okay.
I feel like he was just unnecessary.
Really?
I agree.
You agree with that?
100%. In fact, you know, I had done my research. I watched the episode twice this past week, wrote my notes down. And this morning when I woke up, I was thinking about it and I said, you know, that whole Cowboy Hank thing, there was no need for it. It didn't need to be. I mean, maybe they just did it to fill up time, but they could have done something like, I didn't think it was really necessary.
That's interesting. Cause I mean, I just kind of talked it through with myself, but like, I like it because, like I said, like maybe he's not that interested in a bunch of like men, just cops standing around and drinking, and when he doesn't drink, you know, like whatever. But the fact that they got something from his childhood that made him happy. And then I also said this in likes was that it was a good redemption from the Mr. Monk's favorite show, where that actress is like a terrible person. and it ruins the Cooper clan. Like, I think that this was good. Like, we got that like kind of celebrity vibe that something is intact from his childhood and he is a good memory now. And I like that. And I know I liked Cowboy Hank. I thought he was cute too. And like we talked about how old he was and stuff, like he was a cute old man. And then Monk with his cowboy hat, I liked it. So I totally get what y'all are saying, but I actually liked it.
I feel like he ruined like the whole like, oh my god, but Monk, there are people that care for you here and you can like talk to them and stuff, instead of being like, oh, Cowboy Hank is here. Like,
although Natalie did say, see, Mr. Monk, Cowboy Hank left and everyone is still here. And then Randy comes up with his, flavor solution. And then it's like, you're not leaving. But so I guess in a way it does redeem that. But still, I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was, I don't know.
Okay. I get what you're saying. And that's a good point, Noah. That's good. Speaking of, Randy's got another girl.
I know. That was one of mine too.
I was trying to think though, when's the last time we saw him with a girl?
In Focus?
100th case?
100th case?
Is that the last time? Because remember, we did 2 episodes like in a row where he had a girl.
In Love.
Oh.
Mr. Monk
Falls in Love.
Falls in Love.
And in Focus. So I guess it has been a bit. So it's been a whole season.
Still.
So that's okay, I guess.
It's still 3 different.
Oh, he was also flirting with the CSI girl in one of them. That was
the crime scene.
The foreign man. The foreign man, right? Because the liniment, and he's like, this is my first rodeo. Yeah, but Randy's got another girl, and then of course we talked about Stottlemyre, which I liked the Stottlemyre flirt, but the Randy with the random girls just gets me. Stottlemyre is such a like a one-woman man, I guess. Not that Randy's not, but like when he likes someone, they make it very obvious and evident. And Randy flirts all the time. Stottlemyre's like serious. So
it's probably the age too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's weird because they both have the same amount of girlfriends so far, but one just seems so much more mature.
That's true. That's true about the age thing. That makes sense.
But speaking of that, if I may, can I give you my number 1 dislike out of all of this entire episode? Can I do it now? Because I need to get this off my chest.
Okay.
Why in the world, out of all the names, all the female names in the world, they had to name TK Trudy? I did not like that. I know it's a very unpopular opinion. I understand the symbolism. I understand that, and I don't want to ruin it for Noah, but let's just say that TK ends much better than Linda Fusco did. We'll leave it at that. But it ends better. We'll just leave it at that. I don't like the fact that I understand the symbolism that they wanted him to find, like Trudy was a perfect woman for Monk, and they wanted Stottlemyre to find his perfect woman, his Trudy. But no. I wish. I mean, Mary Poppins would have been a better name for me. I just didn't like Trudy. Like to me, that's something special for Monk and should have been left at that. Like I cringed when Stottlemyre's reaction was great. He's like, oh, well, that's not gonna work,
Yeah.
Leave it at TK. It's cuter. Yeah, leave it at TK because Trudy didn't work for me. I know it's unpopular, but I hate it.
I'm not sure how I feel about it just yet, honestly, but I do like Stottlemyre's reaction to it, that he didn't lean into it and go like, oh, well then you must be meant for me, like because your name is Trudy. He was like, nope, that's no bueno. Your name's TK. Let's go back to like acting like I did not know that happened.
Yeah.
So I did like the reaction to it, but I'm not sure how I feel about it, honestly. Yeah.
My dislike about the whole Trudy name thing was like, why? Because at the beginning of the episode, I was like, why are you not telling him your name?
Oh.
And it was just pointless, and it was all for that big reveal of, oh, I'm Trudy.
Yeah.
And it's like, but why didn't you just say that? Because they just wanted it to be a big reveal.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, because she didn't know anything about Trudy. It's not like she was keeping it because it was awkward. Yeah. She had no idea. So, they purposely did it that way. But
yes,
again, made it even more annoying to me. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I put this episode was slow at times. it just kind of drug on until the chase scene happened. But it's also one of those things where I know, what's going to happen. And so I'm like almost waiting for the chase scene.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, man, this episode's really long because we haven't even got to the birthday party yet. But I mean, that's from an afterwards perspective.
I thought it was good because it was always keeping you on edge with the parties. Like, when is she actually going to do this?
Okay.
And then they really, really catch you off guard with them being, hunted or whatever.
Did you think that she was going to get him?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
Or at least whenever, they were being hunted, I was like,
at least
that
not
completely went out my brain.
Yeah.
Which was, I guess, their point.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they tried to
That
do.
was so perfect.
Yeah. I thought that was real. I didn't think, the thought of the
Exactly.
surprise being at that, I didn't think it was it. I thought that was just part of the episode, not part of the surprise, so.
Yeah. When they kill that guy, man, that sold it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you not think that's real? And then of course, because I'm watching it, and then Noah was like, I look over when it's finally over, and Noah's like, oh my gosh, they did not just do that. I was like, yes, it got him. Okay, perfect. Okay, I have one more. How many do you have? Do you have
I have no more.
no more? How many do you have, Denise?
One.
One? Okay.
One more.
My last one is, I thought the crime was just okay. Our last person, Lindsay, she liked the ice cubes thing. I thought the ice cubes things was just all right.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I've also seen, there's an episode of Columbo that I think had ice cubes, and it also had a clue of like somebody falling in a trash compactor, and they also was a clue where like somebody turned the lights off, and they're like, who turned the lights off if he had turned the lights on. So it gave me a lot of Columbo vibes, which is fine because I liked Columbo, but it was almost like a I've seen that before.
Mhm.
I've seen that before, which could very well be where they got the ideas.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But so to me, it just wasn't super like memorable. I didn't remember the ice cube thing when I started watching this. I didn't remember it, which I mean is a good surprise. But then again, at the end, it's like, oh yeah, it was the ice cubes. I forgot about that.
No.
So, but,
I like them.
okay.
Okay. It was clever. I thought it was clever.
I didn't think the shape of them, the ones that he took out of Monk's drink before he put the poison ones in, didn't look real to me. Like they looked like they almost were fake ice cubes. I know they have different like ice cube makers with different sizes and shapes and all of that, or even some crazy ones. But to me, still they look fake. But that wasn't the dislike I had. But yeah.
Wait, which ones looked fake? The square ones or the round ones?
The round ones.
Okay, I thought the round ones looked real and the square ones looked fake. That's funny. Yeah.
I thought
I've seen square ones. I've seen fake square cubes. I've never seen fake round ones. And so I thought that the square ones were fake looking, which they were, neither of them were supposed to be fake. They were supposed to be real. So yeah,
Right.
But interesting. Different perspectives. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
it. What's your last dislike?
So the last dislike, actually, that's a perfect segue because, okay, so I am not a fan of this even before COVID. I'm not a fan of this, but I didn't like this. And I know this sets up a way for Monk and everyone else to be thrown off about who the killer was. But the fact that everyone was drinking from everyone else's cup, I did not like that. Is just too, I know it happens, like it happens among family and good friends and stuff like that, but a lot of them were like, I don't want to say strangers, but maybe people that, just kind of acquaintances, business associates, whatever, and they're just passing the cups around. Like, and again, I know that they did that because it was a way to throw Monk off because the killer himself drank from the cup. So how could it be? But I still, like, even before COVID, I'm not a fan of, passing one cup around and everybody.
Well, was it super obvious
a little
to you
much.
that something had to do with the cups? Or no?
No.
When they were passing the cup and going, oh, that's diet, and passing it, did anything cross your mind?
I mean, after he got the heart attack, I was like, well, something's up. But no, not
okay.
really.
Okay. Because that's, I didn't remember about the ice cubes, but whenever they did that and we were passing it, I was like, that's really obvious. I don't know I don't remember what's going to happen, but I was thinking like this scene looks obvious, even though I didn't know what was going to happen, if that makes sense. But, okay. So everyone's done with dislikes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I did want to ask you, I know Denise has ranked every single Monk episode, like from her most favorite to her least favorite.
Oh, wow.
What number out of, is it 125? Is that how many?
Yes.
What is your ranking this episode? Your ranking, not your rating. We'll save that for later, but your ranking.
Right. This ranks 93rd, 93 out of the 125. And I need to revisit this list because I haven't really updated it. You know, every time I watch and I say, oh, you know what, this one is actually better than I thought, or this one is not as good. So I should really move a couple of them around. I don't think this was going to change much, but right now it's 93.
93. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you talked a lot about dislikes, obviously. So what is something that you did like? So that,
Oh boy.
or your favorite thing, or your most memorable thing, or something. Just something positive, because you had to talk about all the negative stuff.
I think I do like the car chase scene. I think that was like a good surprise for me too, because as we said, like I thought that was real. So I kind of like that. I like how they threw that in and made it look so real. And it turns out that was it. That was the one that got him. So I really liked that. It was not like on edge. It was, you know, the only thing that I questioned about that scene was, you know, at the beginning when they first started, you know, when he first said we're being chased, you know, make a left or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He, you know, then she kind of just kept going. What if at some other point he gave her some kind of direction, like, okay, make a right here, or no, go straight here, and she didn't, and it took them off course. There's my New York accent. I heard it myself, and it took them off course. You know, for where they needed to be for the party. So that was the only thing that, like, I'm like, I don't know if that would have been so real, but the whole scene itself I thought was great.
That's a good plot hole.
I didn't even think about that.
Jotting down.
She was just like, turn left. And
Right.
I mean, she couldn't have not turned. If
Right.
she turned right, then the entire thing would have been done. There was a 50-50 chance left or right.
Yep.
Everyone.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, I think that's it. Oh, I did want to ask one more thing. What is your favorite Monk episode? What's the number one on that list?
Mr. Monk takes his medicine.
Oh, I knew that. I forgot.
And I wish you guys had covered that episode, because I would love to hear you guys do the show about that episode. So maybe when you guys are done with the full run, you can take requests for the ones that you guys, you know, got in after.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Okay. All right. We'll see about that. Okay. Well, I think that's it, Denise. Thanks for joining us. It's been a blast.
Absolutely.
Yes. And don't forget, everyone, Tony Shalhoub Daily. She has a website, tonyshalhoubdaily.com. She's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So check Denise out at Tony Shalhoub Daily. All right. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Nice to meet you, Noah, finally.
Nice to meet you.
He's the guy. Okay, our next co-host was actually a previous fan of the Drunk Monk podcast. If you don't remember, that is where our show originated from.
That is so cool.
Yes, and now she's a fan of our show, which is great. And she's in the waiting room now, so let's welcome Lisa to the show.
Please.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. Thank you for inviting me to this birthday party.
Yes. Yeah, so we didn't kind of mention that yet. I was going to talk about it during Junk Time, which is next, but this episode is airing the day before Noah's birthday. So it's happy birthday, Mr. Monk, happy birthday, Noah, kind of mixture going on there. So yes. Thanks for joining us. We are on He's the Guy now. So I want to start off by saying, what junk did you bring?
Oh, I have JoJo's.
Oh, gluten-free. I've never heard of JoJo's.
Yeah.
Oh,
do you all have Trader Joe's?
I think we have a Trader Joe's. I think we have one.
They do.
Okay.
That I know of.
These are gluten-free, but they have a regular one too.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm paleo, so I don't know. I'm pretty strict these days, but I have a paleo chocolate cupcake.
And I have Kandyce's paleo cereal.
I heard that that's really good. I haven't tried it yet.
I think, it's actually not technically paleo. It's keto, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I bought it. I bought a giant box of it, and it's kind of expensive. And I realized it has milk product in it, and I was like, I don't do dairy. But Toby eats it.
It's good. Let me tell you. It's
Noah
really good.
Noah likes it, but yeah, Toby's got 6 boxes to go through. So there's that. When did you start watching Monk?
I am an original run girl.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a little bit older than you guys. So I don't think I started watching from the first episode. I can't remember where I started, but it was sometime in the first season. And because so much of him resonates with me anyway, it was like I was hooked. So yeah, and also I've always been a huge fan of Tony Shalhoub. So yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So, who do you have for He's the Guy? Who's your first person?
I have 4.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure how you wanted to do this. If you wanted me to list them and then.
Well, usually, because Noah doesn't usually have that. Do you have anyone?
I have nobody. I never have anyone, okay? I'm sorry.
There's some good ones in here, though.
I know his wee little mind hasn't seen as much
I
as we
know.
have.
This is the one part of the show that I fall short on every time.
Yeah, I do. I have quite a bit. But if you say somebody that I'm gonna say, I'll usually just say like, okay, I had them down from this episode or this show or whatever.
Okay.
So we're probably gonna repeat because I put almost everybody. Since we're towards the end, I've been looking up everyone to see if they're on other episodes of Monk.
Yeah. So there's definitely I didn't really write a lot about those, but I mean, clearly they reused a couple of the uniform cops,
Mm-hmm.
and the coroner. The coroner's been used a few times.
Dr. Z.
Like Dr. Z.
Dr. Z, yeah.
Yep. We just saw him. We saw him in his name is Sean Blodgett, and we just saw him in The Voodoo Curse, which was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
And then the uniform cop number 2 on this episode is Michael Patrick McGill, and we just saw him on The Voodoo Curse also 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, and they referred to him as Sergeant Steiner in one of them I saw.
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what's so interesting. We talked about too is like how they like demote, like I'm not, hip with the cop lingo, but it's like what
Cop lingo.
like sergeant, lieutenant, whatever, but like they go from like being credited as like someone's name, like I'm, Sergeant Steiner to uniform cop 1, and like, why wouldn't you just be Sergeant Steiner again? Why would you be uniform?
Yeah.
Exactly. You'd play the same character. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was that one episode where there was just those 2 random detectives or whatever. And it was like, why are they here?
Yeah.
What were they?
Oh yeah. That was, oh geez. Oh gosh. What episode was that? Falls in Love.
Mm.
It was like Martinez or some
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember. I can't remember, but yeah, the guys that were like mean to Monk, and we were like, he's there for no, like these guys are irrelevant. We kind of disagreed on that, but if they were relevant or not, but yeah. So if they showed up, they should be the same people, not like uniform cop number 3. But
Right.
That's weird.
I had one more, which is Michael Coleman, who played uniform cop number 1 in this episode, and then he played a detective, a second patrolman, and a uniform cop number 1 on all different episodes.
Okay.
Like I don't know.
It's just what's the point though? Yeah.
Yeah. Like you should just be a recurring cop number or something. I don't know. Not important, not relevant. Okay, who else did you have?
Okay, so do we want to go for the big ones?
Sure.
Okay. How about the one that's my favorite would be I refer to her as the hottie for Stottie. TK is played by Virginia Madsen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I remember correctly, Kandyce, I think you would probably remember her from a show that I've heard you say you watched. But I don't want to. Go ahead.
No, what show is that? I have 2 that I know.
Frasier.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you watch Frasier or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember who she played?
Cassandra.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the storyline where Frasier has 2 girlfriends at the same time.
Yes, I think to start with, what I first remembered her from, there was an episode or 2 before that. She was in like 3 or 4 episodes, I think, where she was giving him mixed signals, and he couldn't figure out.
Yes.
Do you remember this now?
This is hilarious. Yes, that's so true.
Like he said, well, she kissed me, and then you see her kissing like everybody.
Yeah.
So like she's just like, and he's like, I don't get it. Like he couldn't figure out the signals.
Yeah, and then she like invites him over to her apartment and all this stuff, and then she's like, "Aren't you gonna get into something more comfortable or something?" And he like gets undressed,
Right.
and she's like, "I was just talking about like taking your shoes off or something."
Right.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yes, that is. You're right. That is the first time she shows up, and then
Yeah.
later it's the Cassandra and Faye.
Fabulous Faye.
And then Fabulous Faye, because he gets them mixed up. Daphne wants him to date Faye, which I was Team Faye. And then the dad wants him to date Cassandra because she's like real flirty with him and stuff like that. And then he keeps calling Faye Cassandra. And it's really, really bad. And so he's like, Faye, Fabulous Faye, I'm so sorry. I keep calling you Cassandra. It's, yes. So that was a really, really good episode and good. Yeah, she was on 4 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And the other thing I remembered her from is a movie called Sideways.
Okay.
Now I don't know if you've seen that. It came out in 2004, so that would have been before the Monk episode. And the thing about that, and once I reviewed everything, I realized she was nominated as Best Supporting Actress for that. It was a really good movie. I remember bits and pieces of it at the time. She was playing the love interest for Paul Giamatti's character. And so I imagine that Monk getting her on their show was probably a big get.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. We mentioned Paul Giamatti recently.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his brother, something Giamatti, he was the killer on one of the episodes. Oh geez, I can't remember. Oh yes I do. It's the one with the egg eating thing.
Oh yeah, that's his brother?
Mm-hmm.
The egg eating guy or the guy, the
killer who they shoot at the end. He acts like he's playing the drums. Lady Next Door, yeah. Yeah, that's Paul Giamatti's brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't comprehend that apparently.
Yeah. That's what happens when you do He's the Guy. It's all circulating.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I recognized her from was Designated Survivor. She was on 14 episodes of that. And I want to say she was like a Republican senator or something like that. Toby recognized her from Designated Survivor too. So, did you recognize her? That was all for that you had for Virginia, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw that she was on Designated Survivor, but I hadn't watched the show. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think that's about all I have for her. Okay. I mean, but she was on tons of stuff besides that. Okay, so the next one I have is Kurt Pressman was played by John Carroll Lynch. So I don't know if you remember him. Mm-hmm. So he was on the Drew Carey show. He played Drew Carey's brother. Yes. Who was a crossdresser, at least in the early part of it.
Oh, okay. I watched that show. We've talked about it on our show, but I didn't remember. I saw that credit and I was like, I don't remember that, but that makes sense now that he was a crossdresser. Okay. It's
yeah, and the other thing I remember him from, I mean, I wrote down the other stuff he was in. Maybe you know better than I do. But the other thing I remembered is he was in a movie called Crazy Stupid Love. Mm-hmm.
Steve Carell.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And
really good movie.
It's good. It's one of those, I think at that time there was a lot of movies where all the storylines kind of converge. And this was one of those. And John Carroll Lynch's character was the dad of the babysitter for Steve Carell's kids. And there was a big mix-up, and he came in to, like, beat up Steve Carell. He, like, just came wailing on him. So that was, and he's a big guy, as you see. Yeah. So that's the other thing I remembered him from.
Nice. Okay, I saw that. I didn't jot it down because I didn't remember him, but I put Gothica, the Halle Berry movie. Oh. It's like a super, like, I actually just watched that like a year ago. It's a pretty old movie. but where they like Halle Berry is like a therapist or something, and they all gaslight her and make her think she's going crazy and like trap her in an insane asylum.
Oh
And
my
he
gosh.
plays a police officer on that, like a sheriff or something like that.
Huh.
But,
Oh, I know. One other thing I noticed, I haven't watched it, but the thing that I found a little connection with was more recently he's in a series called Big Sky.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah. Are you watching that?
Oh yes, I've talked about it. I've talked
Okay.
about it on the show recently. I don't think these episodes have come
Yeah,
out.
they
They haven't come out yet. Because Ted Levine is on Big Sky.
Yeah. So
He's
that's
really
the connection there.
good. Ted
Mhm.
Levine's
I gotta
really good.
watch that.
Yeah, and so what's his name again? John Carroll Lynch. He plays Sheriff Rick Legarsky, and he's in the almost the whole first season. He plays remember I told you it's about kind of like
The family.
the prostitute ring they're doing, but he's a sheriff. He's a dirty cop. That you figured that out in like the first 2 episodes or so. So it's not that much of a spoiler.
Oh.
He's a bad guy. So,
Okay.
and he's really good. But when I saw him on the screen, I was like, I recognize him, but I didn't know what I recognized him from. And it was Monk.
Huh.
So
He's really versatile. I mean, he can do comedy and he can do serious roles too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Yep.
Big-
So that's,
Big Sky has been like so relevant recently. We've had like 3 people or 4, 3
Mhm.
or 4 people from Big Sky,
yep.
which may be coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, or does someone who worked on both shows?
I
work
know. That's the thing
the
about
casting
yeah.
person.
like the casting directors
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. I don't know how that works. But let's see. Is there anybody smaller that I have here? Because you said you had 4. How many have you done? How many do you have left, Lisa?
2.
2? Okay. You can go for it and I'll see what I
Okay.
don't have.
Okay. Richard Meckler is played by Lex Medlin, and I knew him right away. He was in Drop Dead Diva. That was, did you watch that?
I watched the first 2 episodes one day. It started automatically playing the show on my TV. So I watched like the first 2 episodes and I was like, oh, that was cute, but I haven't watched it since. But I have seen it.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was on for a few seasons, maybe 3 or 4. And I watched like maybe the first 2 seasons. I liked it. But, you know, if you remember, the premise is people are like body switching after they die kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple of seasons, I couldn't it's like too much body swapping.
Okay.
For me
I only
remember
saw
who
the
is-
one
who
girl.
is who.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but I remembered him because he played like a judge I think later a lawyer or something like that. So I remember him right away because he was like on there like a main cast, I think.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I do know that show. I put him down he was on an episode of 911, Jane the Virgin, Modern Family. He was on an episode of Friends. And then, I don't know, have you ever seen the show The Middle?
I haven't watched it. I know what it is.
Well, we love The Middle.
Yes.
Okay, so this will not be interesting for you. But did you know that there is, so The Middle has Patricia Heaton, right? From Everybody Loves Raymond.
Mhm.
She is like the star of the show. Well, that show went on for 9 seasons from like 2009 until what? I don't know. What's 9 years later? And then, but I was looking up Lex Medlin, and he had a credit from 2007, so 2 years before The Middle started, as playing Mike Heck in the TV movie version of The Middle. And I was like, what? What the heck is this? And I can't find any footage of it or anything, but it's on IMDb. He played Mike Heck. Ricky Lake played Patricia Heaton's part. And then, yeah, super strange. And then there was Sue Heck, right? Was played by somebody else. There was no brother Axel Heck credited. And then Brick Heck is played by Atticus Schaefer. He's on the movie version. So he was the only person that was cast in the movie and the TV series. So it's the same thing, but it was supposedly, I guess they made it into a TV movie. It was like supposed to be a pilot. It got canceled. Or like it didn't get picked up, I guess I should say. So isn't that super strange? Like different, I know again, you didn't watch that show, but different people playing Frankie, Mike, Axel, Brick, Sue.
Yeah.
Isn't that super
That
weird?
is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, who is the person who wanted to be Monk, or who was close to being Monk?
Stanley Tucci.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to picture Stanley Tucci as Monk. I mean,
Monk.
well, actually, we did
Yeah.
get to because he dressed up
Yeah.
as Monk in the episode. But yeah,
Right.
So, but yeah, I thought that was extremely weird. So, but you learn, right?
Yep.
And then who's your last person?
Okay, so the last person I looked up, I looked up Cowboy Hank because he just had such a familiar look to me, although I can't say I exactly remember seeing him, but his name is Jack Betts, and apparently he's still alive. He's 92.
What?
It says he's 92, and the last credit he had was something in 2018 or 2019. So I think he's just he likes to be an actor. You know, he's a lifetime. Yeah. So what I was reading about him is that he started out his career as a leading man in spaghetti westerns.
Okay.
Do you understand what that term is? Does Noah understand what that term is?
I mean, I don't know exactly what a spaghetti western is, but my Mimi is always watching westerns. What is the specific spaghetti mean?
So if you think about, I don't know if you've ever seen like any of the Clint Eastwood, like A Fistful of Dollars or anything like that. So what they are low budget. They were known as low budget westerns. They were made in like the mid 60s to mid 70s. And in order to keep them low budget, they were filmed in like Italy, spaghetti. And so they would have the Italian actors and then they were dubbing over them. So if you look at like the Clint Eastwood movies, you will see, you can tell they're not, it's dubbed in. So that's what a spaghetti western is. And apparently Jack Betts was a leading man in a bunch of them. And that's how he broke into the business before doing American films. So that would make him very qualified to be Cowboy Hank.
What? Wow. So that's probably just a nod.
Right?
Yeah.
It probably is. And that's why I was like, I have to look him up. There's just something about him. And the other thing is he was on a number of Perry Mason, the original run in the 60s episodes. And he was on several soap operas. He was a soap opera actor. It looked like he mostly played doctors. He was on One Life to Live, Guiding Light, The Young and the Restless. And I did notice he was on an episode of Friends and an episode of Frasier, but I didn't look into or remember the episodes.
Yeah, I didn't remember the Friends one. There was also Everybody Loves Raymond. I've been watching that recently. And
that's right.
He's on a cruise ship and he flirts with Marie Barone, the mom. And so it's kind of cute. But the episode of Frasier, he's actually on my favorite episode of Frasier ever, which is Ham Radio. I think I've probably showed you this episode where Frasier puts on the skit for Halloween and he makes everybody do different voice actors and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite episode. It's like, I think it's actually ranked as like one of the funniest episodes of Frasier ever. But Frasier's like, he needs to cast all the people in the play. And he's like, I still haven't found anyone for the Scotland Yard inspector. He's like, I guess I'll have to do it. And Roz is like, okay, whatever. And then he walks out into the hallway and Jack Betts walks up and he's like, he has a pipe in his mouth and he's like, I was wondering if you've cast the role yet for the Scotland inspector. And he's like, oh yeah, I just filled it. It's so funny because, Frasier's so full of himself. He doesn't want to choose the guy who's like perfect for the role. He's like, yeah, I filled it a couple minutes ago. So yes, one of the funniest episodes. He was totally in that. So I have one more, which we kind of talked about in likes. Lindsay brought it up, but Aaron Linker, he played Little Monk in the webisode series of Monk. There's like 10 episodes. We couldn't figure out where to find them, but
I haven't seen them either. I'm sure they're hidden somewhere.
Yeah. So it's the same Little Monk. So that Little Monk who was in that web series, this is the only episode that he plays in the actual series. Like we've seen different iterations of Monk, like a little Monk. This is the only one that he plays in. I thought it was interesting. Like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't choose him like since he was little Monk that he wasn't in anything else, but that's him, and that's all I have for He's the Guy. Noah, are you done with He's the Guy?
I am. Surprisingly.
Surprisingly. Okay, I have a couple more things. Who's your favorite guest star ever?
Oh my gosh. Putting me on the spot.
I am.
I don't know if I could say ever. I would say the first one that comes to mind for me would probably be Stanley Tucci.
Okay. That's a lot of people's favorite, surprisingly. But I just don't know him from anything else. But he did a great job in this episode, in that episode.
Yeah, he's another just very versatile actor. He can do it all. So I'm a fan of his too. I'm sure if I had more time to think about it, I could have come up with somebody else, but that was the first one that came to mind for me.
Okay, and then what's your favorite Monk episode?
That's tough. But I think it would, oh my God, why can't I think of the name of it? The one with the burn notice guy in it, the astronaut.
Oh, the astronaut. Yeah.
I love a lot of aspects of that episode. It's got some serious to it. It's not too goofy. I think that's why I like it. And that one I'll definitely, if it comes on, I'll drop what I'm doing to watch it.
That's cool. That's a good one. All right. So I think we're done. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us for this segment. It has been awesome. I love chit-chatting about all the other shows and actors and things. So thanks for hopping on with us.
All right.
Okay. We'll see you later.
Care.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Junk Monkers, this is the end of part 1 of our Happy Birthday, Mr. Monk episode. We hope you're enjoying the celebration thus far and come back for part 2. The first one got a little bit lengthy, so we split it up into 2 parts for your listening pleasure. However, we do have a lot of great co-hosts left, and they have a lot of good stuff to share, so we hope you come back tomorrow, June 8th, which is Noah's birthday, and that's when we'll release part 2. So make sure you come back then. You'll thank me later.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Junk Monk Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us at Junk Monk Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
If you want to know more about Kandyce, she's at Hardens and Hardhats on Instagram. And if you want to know more about me, Noah L., subscribe to my vlog, Noah Hernandez, on YouTube. Also, you can leave us a voicemail at 323-366-0477 with your questions, comments, or just to show us some love.
Don't forget to catch up on Monk with Amazon Prime Video, and of course, subscribe to our show.
You'll thank me later.